Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time. This time with the Kindness Project, best Christmas foods, Stollen, and we have the best bits of 2018 part 1. So this one is probably the shortest ever recording we've ever done, because this one is a best of.
Best of.
It might be the shortest podcast we've ever done, because I don't know how much of the best of...
It's not a lot of best of.
There's not a lot of best of. What there is a lot of, Charlotte, is us having a laugh.
Fun times.
Fun times.
Good times.
Fun times. There's a lot of fun times on the Kindness Project podcast. Having a laugh, just as we just record, because we really enjoy having a laugh. Mm-hmm. And a lot of our weirdest, strangest, funniest conversations tend to happen in the introduction and the end of each podcast.
Yes.
So what I've asked our
esteemed editor,
so
silent, he comments on everything.
Russell Deems Esquire, to do is take some of our best intros, take some of our best outros, and
mush them all together
in a compilation, and that's what you're going to hear right now.
If it's just me screaming, don't be afraid.
There may be some laughs, there may be some giggles, there may be some nonsense, but you will enjoy it.
Don't listen to this on public transport, you will laugh your butt off.
However, yeah, we have had people giggling on the bus, apparently. That's happened in the past. However, before we do that, I've got to clear up a tiny loose end, and I know this is a bit weird, because normally we do last week's question of the podcast at the end of the podcast, but because we've got a compilation show.
Compilation.
I apologise for my mispronunciation. I've got to do the last week's question of the podcast
now
at the start of the show. And
it's a travesty.
Last week's question of the podcast was, what's the best and worst individual elements of a Christmas dinner? Charlie Goodman got involved. Good old Charlie Goodman. We like Charlie, don't we?
I think so.
And said it's a tough choice between fruitcake and panettone for the best. I actually hauled several of both to get me through January. I've just got this image of a cupboard in Charlie's house full of panettone and fruitcake.
I can imagine his friends coming in just like, where'd you keep your secret panettone stash, mate?
I know. Yeah. Excuse me, mate. Got the panettone left? No? What's that smell? What's that smell coming from that cupboard? I don't know. But yeah, apparently Charlie Goodman loves a bit of panettone and loves a bit of fruitcake. You know what we didn't talk about?
The toque.
What we didn't talk about last week, when we were talking about best and worst foods, clearly, was Stollen.
Oh my god, I made a pun about it.
Stollen is amazing.
I made a pun.
Yes, but it is very good. So, at one night, plus including pigs and blankets, Stollen is definitely near the top of my list. Hayden said, not a huge fan of Christmas cake, to be honest. Favourite would be all the different cheeses. Now, that would definitely be on my wife and your mum's list, wouldn't it? She loves a cheese. I mean, she loves the cheese. Cookie, John Cook said, well, obviously the favourite is pigs and blankets. Goose and cheeses are also awesome. And least favourite, the mini bounty bars in celebrations.
You're over there, mate.
The mini bounty, I'm alright. The mini bounty bars in celebrations aren't the best chocolate in celebration. The worst mini chocolate you can get, fudge.
No, don't say that.
What do you mean don't say that? You like a fudge?
I like a fudge.
Oh, fudge is
I like a fudge and I like a caramel.
Oh, hashtag fudge. So, right, please, listeners, hashtag fudge. Do you, and I might do a little Twitter poll for this one, boom. I think fudge is awful. Charlotte likes a fudge. Who's right? First option, Charlotte's right. Second option, I'm right. Third option, you don't really care because fudge doesn't form a significant part of your life. I think that one might win.
Probably. I don't care. Fudge doesn't matter.
Said she's not a fan of fruit pudding, but she does love a prawn cocktail.
You know what I do like?
What?
A trifle, a good 9 hour trifle.
Yeah, Mum's good at it, but she's not doing that this year though. So.
Oh, I'll do it.
But the prawn but also the start that signifies the 70s most for me, the 1970s.
The start that signifies that my sister won't be eating the same as the
And
rest
then
of us.
Deborah Myers says, Faye, a big portion of Christmas pudding served with half cream and half custard. Half cream and half custard, there's a brave choice. To top the bowl off, least favourite, can't think of anything, she loves it all, so it's all good. And on that note, and the weird paradox that is the end of the podcast at the start of the podcast, please do listen to some of our best bits.
Yup.
We've just got interrupted. We were halfway through an introduction for the Kindness Project, and we got interrupted by a phone call, and it was Barry. And
Who's Barry?
Barry's a really lovely man, actually. He's a really nice guy.
You're a nice chap, Barry.
Well done, Barry. You may not listen to this ever, Barry, but Barry...
Barry, you're a nice chap. You're an icon.
Barry, you are a legend, Barry. This is that we said...
You're integrating into pop culture, Barry.
Barry, you are the man. You are a legend. You're an icon. What I've got to teach you, Charlotte, is when you say bye, Barry, you do it when the phone's still on.
No, I did that intentionally.
Yeah,
I intentionally put it down there. Bye, Barry.
Alright, okay, fair enough.
Welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by Chris Dames, most likely to spend hours gaming.
I love it. Look, who doesn't like gaming? We're all gamers in this room, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're all gamers in this room. So a good bit of gaming is awesome. Is that your introduction?
That's my introduction.
That was quite a short one for you, to be honest, Charlotte. I quite like it. And I am joined by two guests. One guest, though, is the one sort of standing host today. I am joined by a girl so impressed with Cranham, she's thinking of planning a weekly trip. And I am joined by a guy whose bike nickname, according to his Facebook, is Commander Wizzy Pedals. Mike! Mike's joining us for
Hello.
the podcast. This is our first guest podcast host.
And on the plus side, it can only get better from now. So we're starting at a good low benchmark.
We are. Well, we normally go from organised to shambolic in about 2 minutes. So we're sort of moving in that direction as quickly as we can.
Yes.
So we all like gaming in this room, don't we?
Yes.
What's your favourite game? We had this conversation.
I don't know. Ni no Kuni. It's the only game I've gotten close to finishing.
You're not finished it yet?
Oh, and Pokemon. I finished like 3 Pokemon games.
What one?
I think it was White, X, and Sun. So, yeah.
And Mike, what's your favourite game?
Oh, difficult one to say. I'm a really bad gamer.
Okay.
I love games. I've grown up my whole life playing them.
Yeah.
Much like yourself, I had an Archimedes,
Commodore
Archimedes.
64.
I saw it in one of the shops in Romford recently. They had an old Spectrum remake.
Well, we're off next week. There's a thing in Canary Wharf, which is a retro gaming expo thing.
Awesome.
And we're off there next week. They've got 150 free-to-play arcade machines. They've got loads of old computers that can play and stuff like that. And then they've got, how old are you, Mike? Because I'm 40.
I'm 35 in January.
But do you remember a show called Nightmare?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so...
With a K.
With a K, right? So, Charlotte, we've talked about this, haven't we?
Sorry, it just reminds me.
So, they've got, at this game expo thing, they've got the original Trogo turning up, and you get to play Nightmare live.
Awesome.
Now, as a kid, that was one of my big ambitions.
I used to watch it as well. Like, it used to be on, like, CITV, like, really early in the morning, and I would just be like,
yeah.
This is my life.
So Charlotte and I are going to go and play Nightmare live.
Amazing.
I mean, that is the one off the bucket.
If there's going to be one test of your communication skills.
Hello, welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by the man who finds it funny that the European earwig has 2 penises.
That is actually true. The European earwig has 2 penises, and we'll talk about the European earwig after I've done my introduction, which is, I can't find it. I'm joined by Charlotte Dames, the girl, distinctly amateur that was, distinctly amateur introduction, the girl who loves a cry as much as her dad. You do like a little cry, don't you?
I love a cry.
What was the last thing you cried about?
I don't know. Overly emotional movies make me cry. Even mildly emotional movies make me cry.
I am crying since I've turned 40. I cry at everything. I cry at films. I cry at books. I cry at music all the time.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm a big crier. Should we talk about earwigs?
The European one, to be specific?
The European earwig. So I'm reading a really good book at the minute called the QI book. You've probably seen the TV show with, I think it's Stephen Fry, Sandy Toksvig does it now. And the book is just basically all these facts that you just didn't know. And there was a really interesting fact about the European earwig. And the question was, how many penises has the European earwig got? Apparently he's got 2. And the incredible thing is, if one snaps off, he just uses the other one. Now, I'm not sure that would apply as well in the human world, but I found that fascinating.
Welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by the man who doesn't like dogs, but will cuddle with them anyway, Chris Dames.
I love dogs. What are you talking about? And I'm joined by the girl who's travelled the world, but her favourite place is still her bed. It's Charlotte. How you doing this week, Charlotte?
Not bad, not bad.
Good stuff. Well, we're re-recording this, aren't we? Because the editor we say is awesome every single week. It's like...
Lost a file, which means that we're at very short notice. The podcast goes out Thursday. What?
We're re-recording this, but because this is the most up-to-date introduction, I've got some really exciting news to share. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
So we are now a 5-star podcast.
Woo-hoo!
I know, it's good stuff, isn't it? We've had a bunch of reviews come in, really nice. Thank you, all of our listeners. And we've got enough reviews for to be a 5-star podcast. But listeners, we're getting to be grading now because we'd like some more. Would you like some more, Charlotte?
I'd like some more.
I want some more.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Please, can we have some more reviews? We are not podcast review.
We're not desperate, but please.
Desperados. But can I have some more, please?
Not that again.
So yeah, if you could, if you're really enjoying the podcast, listeners, feel free to leave us a review on that old devil called iTunes, and we'll really appreciate
the devil
it.
called iTunes.
And we'll make sure we give you a shout out. That's the good news part 1.
Part 1?
Yeah. Good news part 2.
Is there any more than 2 parts?
Is we've got more than 2 listeners. Right? We haven't got 3. We haven't got 4. We haven't even got 5. We've got 6. No, I'm kidding. We have now got...
We have 0 listeners, no listeners.
Is anybody out there? Is anybody? We've got thousands of listeners.
What?
Listen, I know. Listening to the... I'm as surprised as you.
I don't even listen to
I'm
this.
shocked. You don't even listen to it.
No, because I don't like listening to my own voice because it makes me feel egotistical.
That's because you told me I don't like the sound of my own voice, so I've got to listen to it to make sure it sounds okay, but you don't. But we've got thousands of listeners.
Thousands as in more than 1,000.
More than 1,000. We're
2,000 or...
We're heading towards the 2,000 mark, which is very, very good. And we've got listeners across the world. I mean, obviously, we've got a few in London.
A few.
We haven't got that many in Birmingham. I think they switched off after they heard me do my... You're looking a bit appalled now. But I think our listeners in Birmingham switched off after they listened to my Brummie accent, to be honest. What do you think?
What Brummie accent is
that? What do you think?
Oh my god.
What do you think? But we've got listeners in Brazil.
What?
We're quite popular in America. Venezuela, apparently. We've got 1 listener in Nigeria, I think. We've got listeners enjoying.
How are people in Nigeria?
1.
How is this random person in Nigeria hearing about the Kindness Project?
I don't know.
Maybe it's someone who's gone on holiday and just like, ooh, I forgot to do this while I was in England.
Maybe, but certainly we're getting little indications of the Kindness Project becoming
global.
Well, yeah, I mean we've got a few thousand, we've got a couple of thousand nearly listeners, but
here and there.
But we're really enjoying the project. We're going to carry on.
Yes.
We really rely on your iTunes reviews, and apparently it's just not me, you, Russell, and our family that listen to it. There's a few people that actually quite enjoy it.
Yep.
Which is cool.
I don't think our family's that big.
No, it's not. We haven't got 2,000 people in our family, but as a community we're growing. So again, we can't do this without you. Thank you, dear listeners, for continuing to listen, leaving comments, because we do love a good comment, don't we?
Funny.
We do love a good comment, and getting involved. Hi and welcome to episode 6 of the Kindness Project. I'm joined today by somebody who loves dad jokes more than her actual dad. It's Charlotte Dames!
I do not love dad jokes.
You love a dad joke.
So cheesy.
They are cheesy. Yeah.
And I am joined by a man who'd probably eat his weight in pigs in blankets for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Big time. Big time.
Chris Dames.
Oh, I love, honestly, pigs in blankets. I'm confused about the fact that pigs in blankets are deemed a Christmas food. I mean, Charlotte, would you... if I was Prime Minister, I'd make a law saying pigs in blankets are just part of a Sunday roast. Do you know what I mean? If you're having a Sunday roast, you've got to have some pigs in blankets in there too.
Or an English breakfast, it's just a sausage wrapped in bacon.
It's not just the sausage wrapped in bacon, though. The art of the pig in blanket is when you wrap a sausage in bacon. Have you ever heard that phrase?
Does that make me a mum artist?
One like sort of when you put two things together, they make something like
better.
that. The whole is more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
That phrase was made for the pig in blanket, because if you break it down, all it is bacon and sausage, but actually you put those two things together and it's a lot more than just bacon and sausage, right?
I suppose. You look so offended.
I can't believe.
No, I love pigs in blankets, but
right.
Obviously...
you don't share my level of passion,
I don't
right?
share your level of passion. Honestly, I think the less you eat them, the more special they become. So if you eat them as just a Christmas food or like a special occasion food, then they are much more special. Okay,
so you wouldn't say that absence makes the heart grow fonder, no?
Probably what I'm saying.
So absence makes... You think absence makes the heart grow fonder?
Yeah.
And I think... just let's have more pigs in blankets in our life. It's not as catchy as absence makes the heart grow fonder, but we could carry on this argument forever. Hi and welcome to the first ever Kindness Project podcast. We said that together. That wasn't planned. High five. So that was Charlotte, who could mostly be described as young, scrappy and hungry.
And that was Chris Dames, the man who loves jazz so much you might as well call him the jazz man.
See, we differ in our relationship to jazz, because I love jazz. I think jazz is awesome.
I don't mind jazz, except if it's experimental.
Yeah, experimental jazz is a bit weird. I once went to a jazz club where the guy was playing the piano and then just every 10 or so minutes just wandered off. What? Got himself a beer and come back when he wanted to.
So he wasn't playing sober then?
Well, you couldn't tell, to be honest, because it was so experimental. We might have been playing sober or drunk. It sounded the same, but it was a good night out, to be honest. It was a good night out. So why did I just call you young, scrappy and hungry?
Well, it's to do with a musical we both like. I don't know if you like it as much as I do, mate, but...
Yeah. Hamilton, yeah, we both quite like Hamilton, and we're both quite excited because we're gonna see it soon, aren't we?
January, we got tickets. Woo.
January, we got tickets. So yeah, it should be good, and we'll make sure we let you know what it's like on the podcast when we go and see it. So, just a brief explanation of what we're going to be doing. The Kindness Project is designed to help me write a book. I'm writing a book at the minute and I need some help. I've asked Charlotte to help me with the podcast. And the idea is we just share some happy, cheerful, good news stories about what's going on in the world, interview people who are doing great things and helping people, and trying to share some of the things that we're doing to just make the world a better place, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
But we don't only want to do that. We also want to have a little bit of fun and just share some ideas. So that was some of our best bits.
Traumatising, I know.
They were awesome, I know. We'll see you next week for some more best bits, but this time, best bits from some of our Kindness News episodes. Bye.
Bye.